Most of the notes of a given melody can usually be found to come from just one scale. In the case of Mack the Knife, the scale that the melody notes come from is one that, if you've been following our beginner's jazz course, is already familiar to you. The G Dorian Mode Scale pattern. It is something of a discipline, but when learning to play this tune, do try and stick rigidly to the fingering pattern shown here, using the 1 finger per fret rule. Okay, here's a quick demo of the finished article, played against the backing track. Tab for the melody. But to make this nice and easy to learn, we're going to take it a phrase at a time. Starting with the first 4 notes. Notice that this phrase starts just before the bar line, so we need to count ourselves in like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and. So it comes in on 4 and. Sometimes the tab you're following will give you that sort of information, but more often than not you'll just have to pick it up by careful listening. Okay, let's locate our starting note, which falls under our 2nd finger on the G string at fret 2. This is followed by the note under our 1st finger, that's at the 1st fret, on the 2nd string. And then 2 notes under our 3rd finger, that's at the 3rd fret, also on the 2nd string. So that first phrase is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and. To help with the timing, it may be best to pick this phrase down, up, down, down. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. On to the next phrase, which uses the same 3 notes, but without the repeat of the last note. So the 2 phrases together. Again, pick the 2nd note in the phrase on the upstroke to be sure of good timing. We now alter the first 2 notes of the phrase to blend better with the chord change to G minor 7th. On the G string we play it open, then at fret 3 with our 3rd finger which we then jump across to fret 3 on the second string. As this phrase has the same rhythm as the previous two phrases, we again pick the second note on the upstroke. Here's the resolving phrase as the sequence comes back to the key chord of F6. First finger at the first fret on the top string, then top string played open, then down to the third note on the second string. Again, we pick the second note of the phrase on the upstroke. As part of the task of memorising a tune when you first learn it, it's good to spot patterns. Notice in this first line, for example, that all the phrases terminate on the same note, the third fret at the second string. It may also help to notice that these notes or pairs of notes all fall on the first beats of each bar. Training yourself to make little observations like that when first you learn a new tune will quickly help to speed up and simplify the process. Let's just recap that first line again. Here's the whole of that first line played slowly. And at more or less full speed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and. At this stage, you may wish to pause the video for a while and work at getting that first line grooved in. When you're ready, here's the next line. Notice that the rhythmic pattern of starting on each phrase on the last beat of the bar continues, but that the pattern of terminating each phrase on the same note is broken. So we start this phrase on the first fret, second string, up to the open top string, then a repeated note, this time on the third fret of the top string. The next phrase gets a little trickier to play as we have quite a jump to negotiate. So that's the top string open, down to the third finger on the second string, top string, first fret, jumping right across to the third string, third fret. It'll be very tempting to compromise the picking direction for this jump, but try to stick to the same pattern if you can. That's down, up, down, down. Now the next phrase is identical to the one we just played. So let's just jump to the last phrase. Which is also one we've met before, near the end of the first line. Top string, first fret, then open, then second string, third fret. The melody actually finishes at that point, but you can see two more notes before we hit the repeat sign at the end of the tab. These notes, circled in red, are effectively there to start the next verse off as replacement for the starting pair of notes that I've also circled in red. This is fairly common practice to start the next chorus of a melody at the end of the last bar of the previous one. So that's something to look out for in a lot of tunes. Okay, let's just consolidate a bit. Here's the whole of that second line in slow motion. And more or less full speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and. One, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and. And now here's the whole melody from start to finish. First played slowly. And at more or less full speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and. If you're studying this video on the Secret Guitar Teacher website, you'll find a copy of the backing track that you can download from the toolbox to the right of the screen. Once you feel ready to play this at speed, have a go at playing along to the backing track. You'll hear the drum track give you a full bar count in, plus an extra bar including the half beats. And this is to help you time your entry like this. 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and. going to play out now over that backing track. I'll play the melody along to the first chorus, and then I'll let the backing track run on for you to practice over for a couple more choruses after that. So I hope you have some fun playing along to that, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson when we'll take a look at how we might approach improvising a solo over this tune.